we have an agenda today, a loop based on our best ideas, and we may at some point have a special guest or not. It's like really we don't know. We don't know. We have no idea actually.
All right.
Um,
Okay. Welcome to the Health Tech Talk Show, where interoperability meets a budget operation with the world famous host, the capitalist queen herself, Kat McDavitt. And our Share Bear socialist, Lisa Bear. So sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy your end of week roundup.
Oh my gosh. Okay, y'all. So Michael and Melissa are going to guest host for approximately 3 minutes while we wait for Lisa to return from the doctor's office because she has an eye problem.
Apparently a very
So she may actually be doing our talk show blind. So Melissa and Michael. Well, Michael, can you talk about your title?
Yes. Well, as the saying goes, two turds mixed together could be a chocolate cake. So what I'd like to say, which is what I'd like to say, is that for years and years and years, I have for my birthday, I get a chocolate cake with vanilla icing, and then my wife writes in little Hershey's Kisses interesting messages each year. So I am a chocolate cake fan, and I'm in for what Kat has to share today because it's going to be exciting and controversial, as always.
I don't know if it's going to be controversial or just what everyone else is actually thinking. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm not saying anything that anyone else isn't already thinking. But hey, y'all, it's Valentine's Day. Melissa, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you as well.
Yeah.
I'm at least wearing red. What's up?
I mean, you're here for it. You're here for it.
Oh my God. Okay. So I just got a text from Lisa. She is in her house and she's about to sign on. So here's what we have in store for you today, America. We got our typical news show. We got, there's like a lot of fucking drama going on in America right now. So we're going to keep you up to date on that and provide you with our obviously very legitimate commentary. And then
wait, we need to put the bingo card together for choice words and see who gets bingo first.
We'll see.
Lisa's here. Look at her.
Thank God. We were just stalling away for you. Okay, America. I thought you were going to wear some dark shades. Please wear these the entire time. Thank you. Got it. A+. Okay, so like I was saying, Lisa, we're going to cover the news of America, which has been significant over the past few days. Then we are going to, for our Valentine's special, I think originally we said we were going to do our top 5 things we hate, top 5 things we love. We didn't have a lot of time, so we only have 2 categories of things we love and things we hate. I think we're doing things we hate first. And then we're going to do that. And then, y'all, we have actually a very legitimate guest to I actually don't know if she's going to turn down the temperature. She might not be turning down the temperature. She might not. We'll bring her on for just a second so you can see her. It's Kaitlin Christine of Gabbi, CEO of Gabbi. And she's gonna she's gonna tell us some stuff about being an entrepreneur in America these days and in women's health. So that's gonna be weird. Kaitlin, say hi, and then we're sending you backstage.
Hello.
And look at her Valentine's outfit.
I know she's actually prepared.
I was going to say, I feel very ill prepared.
I actually forgot it was Valentine's Day, and then I was reminded, and then I forgot again. So here we are. I don't have time for that. Today's kind of a crazy day. Also, pretty wild that the U.S. federal government chose Valentine's Day to lay off a bajillion people.
Fire everyone. Fire everyone.
Christ. Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. Michael, I do feel like the number one word I'm going to say is fucking in some variation. So if anyone is playing a drinking game, that's the word.
Let's count the over-under and how many different variations we get, and then multiply them together. Let's see if we can get over 50. Okay, Kat?
It's going to be
a challenge.
Challenge.
We'll see what we can do. All right, we're sending you guys away.
All right,
there we go.
Right,
Lisa.
Kat. Okay, first I want to shout out to Dr. Sadaji, who is the ophthalmologist on call from Marin County today. He is a star, an old school doctor who made it happen real fast.
God bless America's doctors. God bless old school doctors.
Turns out I'm allergic to sulfur around my eyes, which is kind of logical. So there you go.
Yeah. New skin treatments, that'll happen. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, glad that's working out for you. So
He
Lisa,
was bad. He was badass. I mean, just honestly, shout out to this guy. It was just like, I'm gonna make it happen. We're gonna get it done in time. Done.
that's love. I love that you let him know
Yeah.
that you had to be on a talk show, and he
I
made
was
that
like, I
happen
gotta
too.
go. I gotta go. I gotta leave now. I'm gonna be in
Gotta
trouble.
go. I'm on a talk show. And America needs you. So, all right, Lisa, like here, we're just going to scroll through what's happened this week, and then we're
Great.
going to comment on it with our legitimate comments. Okay. So you guys heard last week we were doing some ranking of probationary employees. Then we got this executive order, or there was an executive order going out, and then we heard, I think yesterday, that they started firing thousands of workers.
Yep.
Then this morning, I believe a lot of the HHS agencies heard that it was happening today in the afternoon. It would be something around 5,600 or 5,000, I don't remember. And then boom, this started happening. So this is like all kind of like yesterday and today, blah, blah, blah. We heard yesterday, I think this was Lisa, that the new CDO, CAIO, and
CTO.
CIO? I never remember the names.
CTO, CDO, and CAIO.
Yeah, all of whom are women who were hired into ASTP, kind of at the last minute, kind of when we all knew the Trump administration was coming. Guess what? Well,
They're gone.
That happened, which is kind of, I think that's bullshit for a lot of reasons, but whatever. And then we got more news today. Layoffs are happening at CDC. It's going to be 10% of the workforce supposedly let go today. Don't know how that's going. And then we also got a note from a super secret friend that at 4:00 today, which was 38 minutes ago, supposedly all 26 of the ICs, the directors at NIH were being let go, as well as a couple hundred, 300 people in cancer. So, I mean, this is like happening, which is pretty awful. It looks like they get 4 weeks of severance. And then you all are 4 weeks of severance if you're let go in this wave. Now, you all might remember there was the fork in the road email that people could have hit resign and or replied resign and got put on paid leave until September 30th. I think the timing was they announced that they were no longer taking this. They were no longer taking resignations.
They closed so the judge allowed the judge released the injunction and then allowed them to actually close the program, say it was valid and now it's closed.
Yeah. So, and then they announced, hey, motherfuckers, we're going to fire you all. So, I mean, pretty freaking wild, like pretty wild. And then, okay, yeah. So like, Lisa, let's talk about people getting fired.
Yeah, I mean,
Think?
it's just like you've been saying, Kat, like we, the last thing we need is an employment crisis, right? Having a big uptick in unemployment is not good for the economy. It's not good for people's lives. It's not good for people being able to afford things, and food and housing and stability in the economy generally is usually accompanied by a low unemployment rate. So this could be bad if this expands. But again, what you said, like just the federal employees alone, it's only a small amount of the people who have been affected by these cuts. And that is that there's a ton of other federal contractors that are not directly employees of the federal government. And so, yeah, I mean, this is starting to smell like the first phases of an employment crisis. Not great.
Yeah, the Great Purge,
Not
as some
great.
have referred to it. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you're a contractor, one of the reasons you get paid more is because you can get fired a lot easier. There are lots of benefits to hiring contractors.
Right.
And Lisa, I know you were talking earlier, like, listen, there's a salary cap if you're an employee in the federal government. A lot of people don't want to take it, and a lot of people come from private sector. So that's one of the reasons we have so many contractors. There may be other reasons. I do think there may be people. I think Lisa, you were quoting. Who's the author who wrote Recoding America? You cited something.
Jennifer Polka.
Yeah, the $10 banana situation or whatever. The government is just used to paying a lot of money for stuff, and they are.
They're not good. I mean, we always used to joke like procurement is like the hardest and most important and most boring, part of government. It's really hard, and because people are afraid of getting in trouble, they go with the safest option, which is often like the $10 banana, right? Like, and the worst, slowest way of doing it. And again, like procurement, often that's true for federal and state, by the way. Like that's why these big federal contractors continue to stay around. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good, the thing they're really good at is getting federal contracts. You can't, you can't determine necessarily if they're going to be good at what they do by their ability to get lots of awards.
Yeah.
But I will say, just putting it out there, Mr. Musk's various companies have a lot of federal contracts.
That
Tesla,
is true. That is
SpaceX in
true.
particular. Just saying.
There's a lot of money going
Let's
from the
remember
federal
that like
government to, wow.
Palantir, a lot of these companies, they have a lot of experience with federal contracts and they get a lot of their money that way too. So again, like not everybody's evil, not everybody's good. That is a truth.
That is a truth. And like, here's the thing, like there are times throughout this process where I've had a little bit of glee thinking about
Right.
all of the federal employees who have been there for 100 million years, who are terribly unqualified to be in positions of power, yet are. And whenever you need something from them, they sit there and think of all the ways they can tell you no as a means of mental masturbation. We all know those people. There are them who watch our show, right? And like, I am delighted that they may no longer have jobs because they should not have jobs, and there should have been a way to fire those people sooner, frankly. But I think there's only a few of them, and there are a lot of really, really good people. And what bums me out about this process is that it's just like sledgehammer, right? It's just
This is what you were saying before, Kat. Like, who is going to leave when you say you can leave and we'll give you something for it? Like the people who have other options and are really great, you're not going to get like, again, like this is a major slash and burn when it's like, that's not what needed to happen. And by the way, just like I think, Kat, you know this as a business person, you can always fire someone. What you have to do is you have to go through a bunch of steps. Many of them are related to union contracts, which I know we have different opinions about our union contracts. I tend to like them. I think it's good to have,
don't like
right?
unions.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The point is that it is hard and uncomfortable and difficult to properly manage someone, to provide performance feedback, and then to be able to back up your decision to let them go. It wasn't that you couldn't let people go in the government. It's that nobody wanted to follow the 150 steps to do so. And should it be harder? Well, that's a trade-off, right? You say you're going to accept this government job for a lower, capped salary, and we're also going to be mean to you. But we're going to give you job, like some job security that it's harder to fire you, or you can work in the private sector, earn a bunch more, and you can be fired on a moment's notice. In reality, nobody likes to do all of those HR steps. Like nobody likes to do that. And I think it's more that than like people accept it like, oh, it's impossible to fire somebody in the federal government. It's not, but nobody wants to do all the steps. And that's what it is.
No one's to do all the steps. There should not have been 150 steps. Like that's just not great. And
how about 100?
So,
let's compromise on 100.
Yeah, like I'm saying that they just ranked a bunch of probationary employees and like riffed on like
that.
I mean, and like
man.
I think
that
also
sucks.
that it's like what language are we using here? Like the word probation also is something that the general public doesn't typically think like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good word. What it means is you're there for 1 to 2 years, or it means you just got promoted. And you're in a new role. So like in many cases, these are the superstars, right? The people who did get promoted and who wanted to be there. And so that really fucking sucks, right? Like that's not cool, and I'm not into it.
No.
Not great. And it also sucks
outcomes
too.
Outcomes will not be good from this. If you want your federal workforce to be good, high skill, high all of those things, then you don't want this.
Well, here's the other thing too. If you want a high skilled, highly motivated, like, work 27 hours a day workforce, guess what? You got to pay people a shit ton of money. And like there's just like a whole lot of things here that aren't going to add up. This is again, like what I worry about with Trump won, right? Like everybody was like, we're going to run it like a business. And guess what? I thought that was a pretty fucking great idea because I love business. But like the government and business are different things, fundamentally different things. So I do think like, great, we're riffing a shit ton of people. Cool. Like I'm all about efficiency. I don't think this is the right way to do it. And that is as a business person who was right of center, I don't think this is the right thing to do. I hope, you know what? I hope at the very least we get rid of some of the mental masturbators. We probably won't.
Fan of the show, Sergey is talking about the chief AI officer. And I agree, right? The interview process began in July 2024, aiming for a January 2025 start. Why waste everyone's time? Great question, Sergey. I've been asking myself that same question as well.
I don't
it
get
seemed
it.
pretty darn unlikely, and I honestly I just don't get it. I didn't get the timing. I didn't get the thinking. It didn't make a lot of sense. And, regardless of who it is, adding like more C-level executives into a somewhat controversial part of HHS, that'd be a question for any administration, whether it ended up being at that time a new, Kamala Harris administration or a new Trump administration. It's a
either
weird
way, it was a
choice.
new administration. Either way, we were
Uh-huh.
getting a new administration. So I don't, whatever. It's
That's
freaking
right.
bullshit.
That's right. Weird.
I feel very badly for those 3 executives who
Me
are
too.
no
They were
longer
cool.
are
They're
uninvited,
great.
because I think
Yeah.
everything I've heard is that they were really good people. So
Same.
that freaking sucks. That sucks. Bad position to be in. So,
Yeah.
okay. Other exciting things. We talked about this last week. There was some stuff saying Trump's not going to cut Medicaid. Guess what? Like, probably going to cut Medicaid. So here we are. Looks like they're trying to find it seems like through CMS, 880 billion in savings. That is a lot, America.
Yep.
So
Yep.
not super great. Just FYI. Also, I feel like this was so big we didn't talk about it, but RFK is now officially the secretary. And he wrote there was a manifesto basically with the Maha Commission coming out. And Lisa, we heard from a friend of the show that, he thinks about 15% of it was reasonable.
Listen,
What did you think?
I'll just remind everyone, remember Michelle Obama? She was the first lady of the United States of America for about 8 years. She was really into healthy eating and healthy food in schools, and people called her like a communist. So I'm super for all of these things, right? Love it. I love working to end chronic disease in kids, addressing the root causes of that, getting healthy food into people's houses, into kids' lunches and all those things. But there's a reason why some of this stuff didn't work before, and that is that these are really, really wide-ranging things that are really related to something that is now, and we're not allowed to talk about, which is health equity, right? Equity issues generally, right? Like someone's race, someone's ethnicity, someone's background, where they live, what zip code, whether they're rural or urban or whatever it is, right? Those are things that matter. And like you have to also know what someone's situation is to be able to like appropriately target interventions, all of the above. The point is, these ideas are not new. I like them. Some of the stuff doesn't make a lot of sense, but some of it is like, great, let's do it. In the
Some of it does make
meantime,
sense.
the food industry is working on getting things into food that will nullify Ozempic. So, maybe look there.
Yeah. Also, we got this text. We have a few fans of the show who spent a lot of time on Reddit. RFK Jr. today was saying, today over 100 members of Congress support a bill to fund Ozempic with Medicare. Most of these members have taken money from the manufacturer of that product, Novo Nordisk. It's a Danish company, but the Danish government does not recommend it. Stock could be facing turbulent times.
Oh yeah, and also, also, side note, like I'm really interested that this is also part of the ongoing American-Danish War of 2025.
Well, like I said, Lisa,
And
I'm looking forward to my house in Nook.
right,
Looking forward to my vacation house.
Sorry, guys. I mean, I like Denmark, but it looks like we are involved in a something, including regarding Novo Nordisk.
We're involved in a something. That is true. Also, so just like, so like as a palate cleanser, let's talk about AI for a second here. Guess what, y'all? Second mouse gets the cheese. What?
Okay, so just like, and our fans on the show who are more into this can kind of fact check us, but with AI wrapper, it's like companies that have like a very, very light integration of basically ChatGPT, right? And there's not a lot of differentiation. The healthcare is now lousy with these types of AI wrapper companies, and this is a lovely example. You all have heard us mention one of these companies on the show before. I don't want to get sued, so allegedly, but I love this comment here about AI wrapper margins collapsing.
We'll talk about them later.
That's right.
Here we go.
That's right.
There we go. Also, we no longer have Women's History Month and various others. Just in case anyone was curious, they are gone now. Yeah. Okay, listen, we got a real legitimate guest coming on the show, so we gotta get through some of our bullshit. Right. So there's one thing we love and one thing we hate, and we have several examples of that in honor of Valentine's Day, where, passion is a fiery thing. It goes both ways. You can love and hate. So we're just going to do both right now. So things we really hate that we've seen lately, bad communications choices. So we're going to talk about those.
Aye.
First one, Okay, y'all. We like ARPA-H, we really do. It was pretty clear earlier this week, and y'all saw that Renee, the director, was let go this morning from her job. Here's the thing. Everywhere is under fire. There's rumors all over that agencies are consolidating or whatever. And ARPA-H chose, I assume this was the director's decision, to post this on the blog of ARPA-H and also on the LinkedIn. So if you want to read this website press release, it wasn't like a real press release. It was like a website thing that a lot of people working in and adjacent to the administration saw. And so what's unfortunate here is what was in this press release about a program called Paradigm, which is about rural health, pro-rural health over here. I don't know the intricacies of this program, but I have met the team. I think they're great people. And three of the awardees in this announcement. So this is an example of, I don't care about the program, really poor strategic comms choice, D- to F. Who the awardees were announced. This was not a program to necessarily, or didn't appear to be a program that was going to stimulate areas of healthcare, moonshots that would not otherwise have been stimulated on their own. They funded Homeward, which has raised $70 million by some really high-end investors. The Brigham
and Women's,
and Mass General, and I believe they funded Mass General in 3 different areas.
2 or 3 different, like multiple areas.
So here's the thing, y'all. This could be a fucking great program. I don't know, but I will tell you, because they told me, members in the administration and adjacent to were like, did you see that, Kat? And I was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, ooh, bad choice. Think about these things. Before, apparently they had an option to post this. And
just gonna quote our guest right here. They don't need grants. That's right.
Exactly. And here's the thing, like, you want to fund things that no one else is, if this is your job, you want to fund things that no one else is doing, right? Like, it's not like, hey, like Lisa, you were talking about sulfur around your eyes. You know what? I've had bad skin my whole life. Do you know what I do all the time? I buy fancy products on the internet that like make it almost worse sometimes, but like marginally improve it. I don't do the things I need to do, which is stop drinking wine and stop eating sugar, right? And I do those things that are great. So it's like, I feel like in some way, what this was like, we did a little thing and we funded a lot of organizations that already have a fuck ton of money, and like, yay, like, I don't get it. I do not. And again, this might be a great program. The way it was positioned and the timing, what the fuck? Like,
and also I've heard a bit of a rumor that the nonprofit status of hospitals is going to be heavily under question by the by HHS in the next moment here. And so just the timing, the tone, like making this choice, I would not have made this choice right now. Right now, here's some free advice for our friends who are in the government. Keep your head down. Keep your head down.
What was that? Yeah, keep your head down. What was that? Well, unless, I will say, shout out to old school Trump one, Andrei Ostrovsky, who is still trading on the fact that he lost his mind on the internet and revolted against the Trump administration. That guy is still talking to me. He is still
chief medical officer of Medicaid from a long time ago now. Andre, you're amazing. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his LinkedIn still says
it says that. It says that.
I mean, but that guy, didn't wait around. That guy didn't wait around to just like see. Like, that guy, he stood up for what he believed in. He is talking about it every day on the internet. So
amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good
but
for him.
I will say, listen, y'all. I don't know if this program's good or not, but just like, everybody should think a little bit about how things are going to be perceived and how they are written. Jesus Christ.
You use your noggin.
Speaking of.
Ken Gluck,
come on the show.
Come on the show, my brother. We need to hear from you. You are the most epic blog poster in all of Oracle, and we need you to come on the show. We need you to come on the show.
God.
We got to hear from you.
Okay, so in case no one has noticed, and as Brendan Keeler noted on his LinkedIn post the other day, it's not often, but like once a quarter, I think he estimated. Ken, I think it's Ken actually, writes these like very unhinged blog posts.
It really was Kat's favorite moment of the week.
mean, like this. Okay, and again, here's the thing. Lisa and I, at least Lisa, I don't know if you know, I don't know if these allegations are true. Honestly, I don't care because the drama of this approach is all I care about. What the fuck?
Read Brendan's LinkedIn post where he goes into great detail with sources. Like he did all the work as usual. Like we're just shit posting about it. He did the actual research. Yeah.
And it's like pretty good research. What we're talking about here.
This is a great point from other super fan of the show, Scott Stewie. You can't find two companies worse at PR or that hate each other more. Congratulations, Scott. Agreed.
Yes, absolutely.
Hard to agree.
My God. So here's the thing, like, okay, and I gave some free advice on the internet from the Free Advice Club, and you get what you pay for about this. Like,
that's right.
So if you are like just America, smear campaigns are heating up. I've been a victim of a smear campaign or 7. Lisa has too. Here's what happens. Like, you don't take the bait, and they make it really, really easy for you to take the bait, and then you self-destruct and you blow yourself up and you do the work for them. So if you are targeted, canceled, smeared, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know. Like,
do not take the goddamn bait.
What's that great thing on Reels on Instagram? Because I'm a millennial. Like, shut the fuck up. That's what it says. If you are like, shut the fuck up, keep your head down, shut the fuck up, and focus on the good things you're doing. So again, I don't know if this is true. I have no idea.
You need to touch grass. You need to go outside. You need to unplug your computer, whatever it is. Like, you have to walk away because you give it oxygen. That's it.
Yeah. And here's the other thing I'll say about this that actually really pissed me off when I was thinking about it earlier. And the team at Insana, I shared this, and I was like, just so you know, y'all, here's a perfect case study example of what not to do. There are lots of ways to handle smears. There's lots of ways to just be better than your competitors.
Yeah,
this is an example of none of those things. But what really bothers me about Ken's post is, and if Seema, and a lot of people really respect what she's done, including me and including Lisa, like, she got some shit done. I don't know how she did it or if she was awful. I don't actually know, and I don't actually care. I saw what she did. But
that's right.
Ken, in writing this post, it is a misogynistic, nasty post against Judy Faulkner. And say what you want about Judy, she is the most successful business person in our industry.
Like, she's a legend.
Fucking legend, right? So you cannot like her. You can say she does nasty things, but like if you read it's just ugly and nasty. And unfortunately,
it's just not just like so silly though. Like, why say this
awful
shit?
And
it's
silly
clown face. Paint your clown face on.
Oh my God. And so here's the other thing is, like, I mean, this guy is like unhinged, who's like, it's like he's making
totally
all this it's like, Jesus Christ, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I actually had a hard time reading it, and I'm like not dumb, Lisa. Like, I'm smart. I don't know.
He's talking about like archived edits to a Wikipedia page. Okay, that is not something that anyone like in this universe should spend one moment of their wild and precious life on. Like, if you are looking at the edit logs of Wikipedia, it's over, man. You gotta walk away.
Yeah, that's the thing. This entire blog post is about edits on a Wikipedia page. It's not. It's edits on a Wikipedia page. Yeah, walk away, touch grass, like have a glass of wine or 7. Make sure you don't call anyone.
Find Jesus.
Whatever you need to do. I don't know, but don't write a blog post on your corporate blog and hit send. Also, here's what I'm going to say. So, unfortunately,
take away his admin login. Take away his admin login.
Yes, please, God Almighty. Is this not a public company? Oh my God,
yeah, girl.
Anyway, also, PR people, please do not comply. Be Andre. Channel Andre. Right? Quit your job publicly. If someone asks you to post something like that, quit your job. You will do what he does. You're still trading off that. God bless Andre. So anyway, the bummer about this too is in Ken writing all that hateful, nasty shit about Judy, he associates Seema with that behavior, which is like not a good
she doesn't what does she have to do with that? Like, back, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make awful. I'm not make her sound like I don't want to paint her as if she is innocent in all of this. I have to assume that she knew and agreed and approved. And I would just say, like, Seema, respectfully, you are so much better than this.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't know me. Like I've presented to her before. I'm sure she doesn't remember my name or my face, but I, respectfully, like, Seema is a serious businesswoman and she was very successful in her role, like you said. And I just please, like, don't get involved. Like, don't get involved in this stuff. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Blech. Anyway, and so here's some, we have a lot of fans who comb Reddit for us. So here's some, These are things that I think certain employees have said about this post. Childish and stupid, truly embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. I can't believe someone publishes. Work shuts. Why Oracle and Cerner will not just come up with a better product is beyond me. Oh man, this is straight garbage. Like, y'all. Anyway, okay, moving on, because this deserves no more of our time. Okay, here's a palate cleanser. This is a dumb thing that happened.
Nobody needs a subscription model for their toilet. This is my like worst thing in AI in the like of the week. I mean, I get it, right? There are people who have like serious chronic illnesses who need this kind of thing, but like none of them can pay the like AI subscription for their toilet for the rest of their life. So like, sorry. And like
also,
boo
NIH,
to NIH.
Get your logo taken off of this. Again, this is not something you want out there right now. That you fund AI toilets.
This is gonna get pulled. This is gonna get dosed.
Much like Paradigm, there might be good things in here. There's probably good tech. There's probably good stuff. But like, the messaging is bad. Okay. Also, we're also still pissed about all the 27 dudes on the internet saying they're the national coordinator. None of you guys are the national coordinator. All right, things we love. All right, and then we're gonna we're gonna talk to very legitimate guests. People who take risks. So we didn't put Andre's face in here, but we should have. I actually didn't know he was going to be the guest star of our news show. The people who take risks. So we got a couple things going on here. So I like his talk. Like you guys, like this guy. Mr. H,
the dirt.
Like, man, and he says whatever he wants. Like this guy, I hope everybody still reads his talk because it is the best.
It's great.
Oh my God. Okay, so we are not loving Glenn Tolman, to be clear. We are loving this article put out today by, I believe her name is pronounced Arundhati, from Med City News. Jeez, okay, this article
was a good piece. This was a good piece.
This was good, and it was cutting, and it was saying what everybody else was thinking, even though other people, like apparently Jonathan Bush, already said those things. So Lisa, tell us about this amazing piece of journalism.
God.
Oh my God.
Okay, so like, Glenn Tolman, Livongo, Transparent, they just announced at JPM that they are buying Accolade and rolling up another, collection of things that might be worth something to someone at some point in the future. I mean, listen, just to quote the prophet, Jonathan Bush, he said it's like if you took two turds and called it a chocolate cake. So that's Jonathan Bush. That's not me. Do not quote me for that. Jonathan, who has been on the show before and would probably say it again live. There are some amazing quotes from him in here where he talks about sort of the ups and the downs and the roll ups here. The thing here is like, if you say that care navigation is stupid and dumb, and then you go and buy one of the biggest publicly traded care navigation companies and try and combine it with your other company that has another weird name, just like Livongo, but it's Transparent. Are you just like cynical, or like what's going on? And I'm gonna vote at this point cynical. So yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in digital health and health tech that's like just moving the money around between different parties versus actually creating better health or better technology. And I think this Med City News article is kind of getting at that point. So shout out to Ms. Parmar.
Yeah, it was really good. I read it and I was like, really good. I'm going to be bored. First of all, she also did like a little YouTube clip, which I did not watch. I actually read the thing. Be impressed, Lisa. It was pretty. Like, it was good. It was stuff. Good. It was some good stuff. And I feel like it was saying what everybody also was thinking, like charismatic seller, right? Charismatic seller who can sell to large convening buyers, employers.
Which is literally what Jonathan Bush said. He was like, the product is 2 turds and the seller is world class. And he says that in public. That's the thing that I like. Yeah. You know what? People who take risks, Jonathan, of course, he doesn't have a lot of, his basis is like very safe, right? He's starting from the basis of being this, from this incredibly storied family with probably lots of money and a lot of no risk of fear, losing out or missing or failing. But like, he certainly takes risks with what he says in public.
That's the thing.
So
a lot of people who can take risks don't have anything to lose. Like Jonathan's like, whatever, I guess
he's got fuck you money.
Take his yacht somewhere. Whatever. He has fuck you money, right? So like, I mean, shout out to him. He's still saying stuff, but a lot of these people don't have fuck you money. I mean, I don't actually know about these financial situation, but whatever. But this was shout out to her. This was a risk. And it's also, Lisa, like, it makes me think too about what you've been saying about Hippocratic AI, right? Like a lot of people are like, OMG, they're so amazing. But everyone behind the scenes is like, yeah, what the fuck's that about? Right?
It's like really bad.
It's like, it's just going to be one of those stories in a few years where everyone's like, oh yeah, I always knew. And it like, like Forward and everything. Everyone's like, I always knew. And it's like, no, you said all those things on the internet about how nice they were. So I don't know, but shout out to her. Also, look at this. This wasn't even planned that Lisa was going to talk about how much she loved Jonathan Bush. So yeah, this guy says whatever he wants all the time, and sometimes
And he's
it's
really funny. He's
really funny.
Like, he's really funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I think he's.
yeah.
I mean, you know, just whatever.
Also, this
Everybody
guy climbed back from that Elliot bullshit too. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it almost
yeah,
made him.
yeah.
It's like it was like Martha Stewart going to prison. Everybody's like, "You go, girl!" Like. All right, Don Rucker. This man also says whatever the fuck he wants.
He does.
And
he
like
does.
he is like the
he
thing
does.
is he's consistent. Like the man's consistent. He's not cloak and dagger.
He seems to have principles that he holds to pretty firmly. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
great.
Who's next?
Right.
Pre-acquisition Jennifer Blumenthal. So actually, people have noted this often. Like, where the hell is Jenny on all these topics? Like, why isn't Jenny commenting on?
She
all
wants
these
to
things
say something.
You know, Jenny wants. Jenny is going to be back real soon. I hope. I actually don't know when her earnout's over. I don't know when that period is, but we all miss Jenny. And pre-2022, Jenny, I think it was 2022 when she got acquired. Man, that girl was like, she was on fire. She was telling everybody what she thought about everybody. So
she'll be back, and I'm ready for it.
She'll be back. I too am ready for it. I think we're all ready for it.
That's right.
And then finally, Matthew Holtz, who we sometimes did not like. I will say this guy. So the reason I posted this comment specifically, this was on the post I did about giving free PR advice to the Oracle guy. So I posted this not because obviously he's agreeing with me, but because Matthew has also strongly disagreed with me a million times. And he also really hates Epic. This guy, like, he does not discriminate.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. He's like, this is what I think. And he does not care. He does not care if you shit post back. So like, we need more of these people who just like, we just know who they are and what they're saying, and we know they're not bot, and they just like don't care and they have balls. So that's what we love.
The blog post is just funny, but we're laughing at it, not with it. That's correct.
All right, time for our very legitimate guest. Thank God.
All right,
oh
all right.
Gosh.
Overdue.
Well, Michael, post the curse word count while we're at it. Oh my gosh, Kaitlin, the color scheme you got going on like really works with our American flag.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
It really does. I fit right in, right?
Yeah.
Also, can I just say how much I appreciate the title and introduction of very legitimate guest?
Very legitimate guest. Here she is.
So it's a lot of pressure.
Tell
I have
us
to
the
prove
story.
my legitimacy.
Well, no, I don't feel like it's going to be very hard given how we just did our new show. But like,
I'm wearing a beret.
It's legitimate.
Beautiful.
Well, Lisa was going to be wearing those sunglasses. I actually thought that would have been really funny if she pulled it off. But no, okay, Kaitlin, tell our loyal fans all about yourself.
All about me. Well, I'm the CEO and founder of Gabbi, which is focused on early detection of breast cancer. And I started this company. It came out of a personal experience too, in fact. First, my mom actually was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was a senior in college. And what is totally fucked up about this is that she had been getting annual mammograms and they were always clear. Well, turns out she was high risk, had dense breast tissue, but she didn't know that. Neither did an OBGYN. And so a mammogram was never going to find her breast cancer, which is why when it was found, it was in every organ, stage 4, and she was gone in less than 8 months. So that ultimately is what led me to start Gabbi, named after my mom, Lisa Gabrielle. And our whole mission is to ensure that what happened to my mom doesn't happen to anyone else. And we believe we can do that by making sure every woman knows her risk and that she can get to breast specialists who know what to order for them based on their risk level as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am really, I care a lot about this issue because I'm aware that there are other protocols in other countries. I've been lucky enough to be treated for women's health issues in other countries where they had a first line protocol of ultrasound for dense breasts, and like not even a question. They don't wait to like run your credit card or whatever. They just are like, yeah, this is what we should do. And in the US, as you know, it's definitely not it. And then the US Preventive Health Services Task Force continues to decline to endorse ultrasound or other types of first line screening for dense breasts. So would love to know your thoughts on like that and where we are and what you think we can do, because this is we're getting worse care.
Well, 2 things. First, let's start with the positive. The positive is that the Breast Cancer Early Detection Coalition, which I happen to sit on the leadership board of, introduced a bill into Congress at the end of last year called the Find It Early Act. This will mandate that all payers, commercial and federal, cover the ancillary services that are required for women who either have dense breast tissue or are determined to be high risk. So, yay, amazing. That would be incredible. It was introduced to Congress. It hasn't been passed yet. Enter in the second part is, what does that mean with the current administration? Who knows? The positive note is that it is a bipartisan bill. As of right now, we all remain confident. Here's my very political answer. We all remain really confident that it's going to move forward because it has both sides of the aisle supporting it. And so much movement has been happening in breast cancer, specifically early detection. Not to mention, I don't know about you, but like every time I pick up a newspaper, which actually is never these days, anytime I read the newspaper, which is maybe every week, there's some new article headline about breast cancer affecting younger women specifically. So it is a problem, and it is a problem that is starting to see greater traction to addressing, to your point, Lisa, of there are other countries that immediately just go to covering a breast ultrasound. And we know that a breast ultrasound for certain ages, for certain demographics, for certain risk levels is going to pick up on something that a mammogram's not.
Yeah, well, even more than that, right? Like one of the biggest problems with preventative care in America is that, okay, so let's say you can get a preventative appointment. Like let's say you can schedule your mammogram or whatever, right? It's only free if you have a certain kind of insurance. I mean, it's technically most insurances, but still it's only free there. And all the providers and the insurance companies like want you to come in and actually pay for something. So the moment it moves from that screening to any kind of diagnosis, you move into the you owe us a lot of money land.
Yep.
And people get lost to follow up all the time. So like, finding new ways to get people screened and early, like you just said, any kind of whatever it is, whether it's ultrasound or something else, any kind of early detection, you have to figure out what are we going to do about the financial component of this? People need to be screened early. Women need to be screened early. I mean,
Totally.
that's the tricky part.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think where we see this coming up the most at Gabby is with patients who have high deductible plans. And right now with high deductible plans, regardless, like it's going to be $800 for a breast MRI that we've deemed as necessary for you. And it's really, really difficult to be in that situation. We were actually just arguing with an insurance company today about it. And so I think the policy advocacy is really important there. Where we happen to sit, fortunately, is if we're able to prove our value to the companies that we're working with, we're able to say, hey, let's waive the fees associated with a high deductible plan for the services that Gabby recommends. And therefore that cost isn't passed on to the patient, which of course is right now, that's the only way we've been able to surpass that in our like B2B2C relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like whenever someone tells me that there's this like awesome thing that we should all be doing, I think, what is the barrier to this not being everywhere?
I mean, what
is it?
What do you think, Kaitlin? I think they just have so much fragmentation around. You're going to have to get Gabby's services to probably every self-insured employer who cares for a population that includes women, right? I mean, that's kind of that, like that's what I would see the barriers. You have a bunch of people you have to go to, right?
The line is squiggly.
That was quite squiggly, which is actually why we pivoted to really starting to work with health systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Is it, are you replacing like a higher reimbursement service?
Yes and no. How it works today in the health system is essentially, and we're specifically focused on a younger demographic, so women under 50. Today is that responsibility is actually put on the OBGYN or primary care to assess your risk. Not sure if you knew that. And in lots of circumstances, they're not on top of all the guidelines. How could they be? They're supposed to meet with you in an annual exam and talk about everything from your hair to your toes, So they may not be on top of all the guidelines. They have so much that they have to address, and they have 3 minutes to do it in your annual exam. And so often it doesn't get addressed. which is why then one of the reasons rather, that we're seeing so many young women diagnosed late, because we don't actually have anything that says, quoting the USPSTF here now, until you're 40, do you need to really worry about your breasts, which is just not the case. And so the OBGYNs in primary care are not able to address this need. Meanwhile, women aren't getting to mammograms to find out what their risk is until 40 plus. And so we're coming in and basically taking over the responsibility that's not happening for this younger population.
Okay. So it isn't necessarily like, oh, this is lower cost and there's some resistance to adoption.
Not like, hey, we're providing an OBG. Yeah.
It's a solution for a population that wouldn't have been served. So that actually, like, I'm trying to think, like, what's the barrier? Is it reimbursement? It sounds like that's a no.
That's a no. So honestly, the pivot to the health system is what really, I think, helps put most of those concerns at bay. Is like, this could very easily be everywhere, is that essentially Gabbi becomes the outsourced specialist that health systems are leveraging to make sure that their younger patients know their risk, that their providers in their care circle know their risk, and then are getting to the appropriate care within the system.
Yeah. And how's that going, working with health systems? Like, is this a recent, change in the structure? Like, tell us about how's it landing?
Well, our first one goes live this quarter. So
very exciting.
Congratulations.
So far we have a paid contract. Thank you. We have a paid contract with one, and we have many more in the pipeline, and of course trying to get more as well. But I can really report back on that after we go live on March 31st.
Oh, very exciting.
Love it. Yeah, and our friend of the show, Rochelle Prosser, says this is a great gap solution. Agree. Yeah, that's really cool. So question
it's funny, if I may, Kat, just to chime in there, it's funny that, Rochelle, you used that word, because we actually have a testimonial that we just shared that specifically calls that out, of like, I didn't know where to turn. My primary care had basically dismissed me from needing anything else, even though I had family history, and I couldn't get in to see a specialist. Gabbi filled the gap for me and was able to assess my risk and then tell me what I needed and get me to it. So I just want to call out, the gap is what we seem to be filling.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can I ask some entrepreneur journey story out of you? Just because, like, listen, it is very impressive when anyone starts a business, and it sounds like you did it after some serious hardship. So, how'd you do it? Like, were you working out of like a small studio apartment? Like, tell us the war story.
Oh, the war story. I don't get to tell that very often.
How
long do we have? So one of the greatest lessons I try to give new entrepreneurs who are starting businesses is don't quit your day job. If you can't take care of yourself and your basic needs, there's no way in hell that you can build something new. And that is one of the big mistakes I made, given terrible advice from Y Combinator. And I was working full time and quit my day job. And in, 9 months had worked through the savings that I thought would be enough to get things off the ground to where I could start paying myself a salary. And it just didn't happen. And so I got rid of my apartment that I loved. I put as much as I could in storage, sold as much as I could, got rid of my car, and moved in on someone's couch.
Amazing.
And I lived off of essentially a couch for 9 months. And it was one of the hardest times of my life. And I fear there's a part of me, there's a scarcity mindset in me for sure that I have to constantly like beat down of going back to that, because it was so brutal.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. So from start to, being somewhat stable was 18 months.
I'm doing them.
Ooh.
I think just about.
We got some recommendations here.
Dear LinkedIn user, we will do that when someone starts paying us.
You guys can all buy our forthcoming Health Tech Talk Show coin
Yeah.
and make us coin billionaires, and we will absolutely reinvest
We
all of
will
that money
fund all the
right
women's
into
health.
women's health
Oh
tech.
my
We're gonna
God,
do it.
we will
We're
do
gonna do
it.
it.
We will do it. We
So
will do it.
exciting.
So Caitlin, that's actually, I mean, that's terrible, but awesome. Like, and it was awful, it sounds like, but also you did it faster than a lot of people. And I know I shouldn't say it. I also constantly have a scarcity mindset, so I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like, you're kind of making it. Like, you're kind of making it. So that's pretty
I was like, where's
awesome.
all the wood to knock on?
Yeah. No kidding. Like, whatever. Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen? I know. We're Leslie and I are LPs in Oncology Ventures, which supports Gabbi. But how are you feeling about just the funding environment in general for women's health, given the current administration?
I don't know if this is unpopular to say or opposite of what you've been hearing.
This whole show was unpopular, so like, whatever. Like,
we're fine.
So we just raised some bridge financing, and to be clear, more than 75% of it came from insiders. So I think that is first statement disclosure. However, it is some of the easiest capital that I've ever raised. And in my experience raising capital, it doesn't get easier. It just gets worse, actually.
Sure.
And so it was a very unique experience for me. And one of the things that I contemplated, I'm like, why is this going this way? Was the upcoming administration and changes. And I actually saw, and talking to other founders, that there's more of an interest specifically from angel investors. So this is not having to do with VCs, but from angel investors who are seeing what's going on and saying, I actually now want to more heavily put my money in women's health because of what's happening.
Yeah, and I mean, and I don't want to discount that, because you've gone through, this process, and I agree with you. I can't imagine it getting easier, but also I have to believe that there is interest from the Trump team, interest from the RFK Jr. team, and everybody else, as well as other people, in things like women's health as it relates to breast cancer prevention and treatment, right? I mean, come on, like prevention. And so something like what you're doing, it feels to me like we should be able to have those conversations and get this work supported, because I can't think of anything controversial about wanting to get more women who may be at risk earlier in early treatment, early prevention, and make sure that we get people before they get sick, before they have problems that affect them for the rest of their lives, if they're even that lucky. So, I feel like we can do, I think we can do this, Kaitlin. Like, I'm willing to go out there and have these conversations with you. I'm ready.
Thank you, Lisa. Great. You know whose opinion I'm really curious about this is actually RFK.
Yeah. Well. Oh, Kat is made herself mute or something?
Yeah, why? We didn't hear what you said.
Oh, it's probably because it was so loud. I said, RFK,
it was so loud, you broke the.
I was yelling.
RFK
I was
Jr.,
just like, come on our
please,
show.
like, come on the show. Come on the show. Let's talk about it. We're ready. We're ready.
He'd be into it. I mean, that's the thing is, like, I mean, this is such a strange HHS universe, right? We have like diehard, we're like old timey Republicans. We've got, like old guard, and then we've got RFK Jr. and friends. Like, I mean, and it's like health influencers on Instagram. And we're trash talking Ozempic. Like, I mean,
right. I mean, to Lisa's point,
Kat McDavitt is in charge of the government. It's so weird. We heard her saying bad things about Ozempic from like a year ago, and they're just on it.
And I do love business. So
interesting.
I love making money. No, but like, let's go back. Okay, whatever. So like, let's go back to like what Kaitlin was saying about like the funding environment, though, because I kind of agree. Like, okay, so first, like, as I said, Lisa, one of the benefits of the Trump administration is that all of us doing business believe we will be making more money. Right.
Exactly.
And so that does, theoretically, there's some positives, and there's been a lot of discussions about that too. Like, VCs are like, let's spend some money, but we don't have to pay a lot of taxes for the next 4 years. So, I wonder if
that's a good point, Kat, actually, because that directly goes back to our insiders some of them who are angel investors previously, when we had gone to them, let's just call it 12 months before, they were like, I can't, I don't have liquid, whatnot. Whereas now they're like, I'm making money now that Trump's in office. So here's some extra cash.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And Joe, it's going to be Barry McDavitt, because I need to be in a position where I can say crazy shit. And that is definitely a VP role. So Lisa's going to have to be the president. I'm going to be the VP. I'm going to write a book and make a movie. Like, I'm going to do all those things. And
it's a cool job. It's a cool job.
Yeah,
it's a cool job.
But yeah, I do think that's the move. So, I'm kind of like hopeful, I believe in the great free private market. So I am hopeful that all these things will be true. Like, and like last week I was making the call, like, listen, if we all make more money, great. Let's all also donate to causes we care about, because it's going to be harder for them to have funding. So, there's that also. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Kaitlin, we got 4 more minutes of bullshit. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to go back to something that Lisa actually said, which was about RFK and our food. And I think what's really fascinating, to bring this back to breast cancer, is that that's happening simultaneously, RFK coming out and talking about food, banning red dye number 85 and whatever that shouldn't have been in our food in the first place. And simultaneously, I'm not sure if you all read this article in the New York Times a few weeks ago, also about breast cancer and it affecting younger women. It was the first time I've ever seen written by a clinician, and not, like a naturopath, but an oncologist, saying the American lifestyle and diet is a factor for increasing breast cancer incidence amongst women, specifically is what the article was about. And to me, that was a really big statement. I've always been a big believer in diet, nutrition, and how it impacts our health, just from some things that I saw with my mom when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, the diet she did or did not go on. And I think it was a really big deal, because also we can't forget that a lot of the government programs, grant programs, man, the federal government itself is backed by so much money coming from places like Tyson.
That's what I'm talking about.
PepsiCo. And exactly. And when I think Lisa, you also mentioned, or maybe Kat, it was you, when we talk about the demographics that this greatly impacts, it's not the 3 of us.
Right. We can afford to buy various types of like fancy, healthy food. Yeah.
Right. We can afford to shop at Whole Foods.
Right. Yeah. But also the problem is that there's a lot of money coming in from the food industry, but also government programs like Medicaid and SNAP are also responsible in many ways for getting food into people's houses. And it's really dangerous to cut those programs, because people need to have food to eat. And also they can have a big role in what people get in their homes.
Right. There's so much influence they could be having. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I do feel like maybe I am running HHS.
Maybe
loyal pro deregulation, pro business,
is
pro
running
healthy
HHS.
foods, and methylated B vitamins and turmeric pills. I'm here for it. Although I don't do that. What is the blue stuff?
No, Kat, that is not a thing. Do not put that in your body.
I just said I don't do it.
No.
I don't do it. I don't do it, but I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it the other day.
No,
you like the color, don't you, Kat?
It's some weird thing that RFK Jr. was papped putting into his drink, and I don't. Please don't do that. Please just eat some nice healthy foods.
Are we banning sugar?
Sugar's great.
Yeah.
It's fine. Sure. It's not good for cancer growth, though. You definitely want to cut down that sugar for your growth.
Don't get me wrong.
Cancers.
I love cookies.
Listen, I love cookies too, but
that's right.
I don't know. I'm sure there's
cookies cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what it is. This is what Joe is called methylene blue. Methylene blue.
For everyone.
Okay. Can we use our last minute to tell America what methylene blue even is? Because I haven't Googled it yet.
I have no idea.
That's a good idea. It's not, I don't know.
Well, we're not the experts. We'll find out. We'll ask someone. We'll
to be clear, America, this is not a real news show. We are not real.
Do not get your health advice from us. Like
clinicians of any kind.
Not good.
We got a bunch of clinicians in the comments.
We do. Ask them.
Yeah. We don't know if Epic was smearing Oracle or if Oracle is smearing Epic. We don't even know. Like, I'll just say their comm strategy was objectively pretty bad. Yeah.
All right, before we go, we have to talk about our count of F-bombs. As far as I can tell, new Guinness World Record, according to Michael Marchand, who's clearly authoritative on this source.
Yep.
Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, he says. Caitlin, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
We are going to be live. I will probably make it, since I'm not going to die anymore from an eye disease, to Vive next week. Are you also going to be at Vive, Caitlin?
I'm not going.
Tragic. We
Yeah.
will be there.
I'm
We
gonna
have
party.
live shows planned, and we're going to be doing live shows again, everyone. So get ready.
Get ready, America. It's going to be crazy. And then we're also going to HIMSS. It's like back-to-back bullshit. Like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, Caitlin, we'll catch you around. Thank you for coming
You're
on
awesome.
our show
Thank
and
you.
being our legitimate guest, bringing us back to Earth here. Hope the launch goes well. Keep us up to date.
And come back on the show after your launch, and you can talk more about what's happening there. So
would love to.
Yes.
Would love to. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. See y'all later. Bye.